Say hi to Trouble, everybody. Are you gonna say hi? It's like, no, woman, give me my treat. Hi, everyone. I'm back. As I stated earlier, I will check in with you all later. One thing you're going to learn about me very early on is that I'm a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I do my best to do it. Your word is all you have. So I want people to know that they can trust me, what I'm saying, that I'm doing, etc., etc. So back to this custody stuff. Can you all imagine having your child for all of their life and then all of a sudden they're just ripped from you? That's what I'm going through. I'm living proof of this. And this should not be going on. There's so many parts to this story that I will have to break it up, piece by piece, because nobody wants to sit here and watch me talk for 3 hours. But again, it's just a little bit about my story. So I let my daughter go to Mississippi to visit her estranged father. When it came time for me to get her home, I reached out, to solidify details. He basically was like, let her stay. And I'm like, no, not right now. Ultimately, he decided he was keeping her. So I had to go, it's the B, y'all. I had to go from Pennsylvania to Mississippi to try to get my daughter. Y'all, this be trying to get me. I'm sorry. Get down there, and I have all the documentation showing that she's my daughter, her birth certificate, social security card, her school records, everything showing that she's my daughter. She's always been with me. As I stated before, her father is not even on the birth certificate. These backwards police in Mississippi, they took his word that he was her father, and they took the word of someone over the phone claiming that he was the father. Now, I've never heard of you being able to take somebody saying, oh, I'm the father, like that, with no proof or documentation, no nothing, to trump me having a birth certificate and all these documents showing that she's my child and she's lived with me. So ultimately, I had to leave without my daughter. So that was trip number one. But even before I left, the officers got really nasty. Practically, they was going to pull their guns out on me just for trying to get my daughter home. By this point, my child's father had spoofed my phone number, was lying, saying I'm communicating threats, just a whole bunch of nonsense. So I proceed to go back and forth to Mississippi trying to get my daughter. Each time I go, the courts are just doing a bunch of retarded stuff. One of them tried to tell me to file habeas corpus, which doesn't even deal with custody. That deals with criminals that are incarcerated. They just gave me the complete runaround. So I didn't finally get my daughter home until October 22nd. I only got my daughter home because by this point she had been arrested. She was in a juvenile detention center and had been in a juvenile detention center for 19 days. So now my 12-year-old baby girl, who's never been in any real trouble, has now been in juvie for 19 days behind all of this custody stuff. The people she was with kept telling her she didn't have to listen to the court order. She didn't have to come home. She could do whatever she wanted. They were manipulating her, basically trying to convince her that I was a bad mom. I was abusing her. The list goes on. My own family turned on me. Knowing that my child's father has never done anything, they took his side and are in court, trying to help this man. So I won't name names as much as I want to, but let me just give you a rundown about my child's father. As I stated before, he's never been in her life. She's 11. When it came out that she needed him in her life for other reasons, I reached out to some of his family to try to get a hold of him because I didn't even have contact information for him. He approaches me with the what now, what do you want from me, etc., etc. He even sends my daughter a text message basically telling her to hell with having a relationship with her because he doesn't know me, his family doesn't know me, they don't know my family, etc., etc. Even with all this, y'all, I did the right thing and let my baby go down there just to turn around and all this happen. This man has a criminal record. He doesn't have a license. He doesn't have insurance. He has never paid child support for my daughter. He has over $5,000 in arrears in child support for my daughter, over $5,000 in arrears with his other daughter. So there's over $10,000 in child support arrears. But yet you want to take this baby from me and say you can do better. He lives in Mississippi, but all of my daughter's family is in North Carolina. Yet the courts gave her to him. When my daughter's been in his care, she has been touched inappropriately, sexually by a peer. She spent 19 days in a juvenile detention center. Her father has failed to comply with the court orders on countless occasions, and the list goes on. But yet the judicial system gave him my child. Where is the justice in this? How is it okay for a child to be uprooted from her mother and her family just in the blink of an eye because now he decides he wants to play daddy? That's what I'm going through, y'all, and it's not fair. So I've been fighting, trying to get her home. So the judge turns out to be connected to my child's father's attorney. They don't think that I know that, but they do. So the judge is now siding with him and giving him my baby, but doesn't even have a legal ground to stand on. In North Carolina, when a child is born out of wedlock, the mother and the father is on the birth certificate, the mother has natural custody and control over that child. So that's the case of my situation. My daughter was born out of wedlock and her father is not on the birth certificate. Yet here I am without my baby. In order to take her, I had to be deemed unfit or I had to abandon her. I've done neither of those. When I try to call my daughter, he doesn't answer the phone. He doesn't respond to text messages, and he's telling my daughter that I'm not reaching out to her when I am. So in addition to me being away from my baby, now this man is alienating me from my child, but the courts think this is okay. This is not okay, you all. Something needs to be done. I've been trying to do this by myself, but I can't. I need your help. Please like my video, share my video, subscribe, help me get this out there. Because again, this is just the beginning of my story, and there's so many other mothers that are going through this, and we need to address it. And in all fairness, it's not even just mothers. There are fathers out here too that are going through this, and that's not fair to them. Children need both of their parents, but the court should not be intervening like this and uprooting children to people that aren't their parents. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta go because trouble is cutting a fool. I'll be back in just a little bit.